Hi family, welcome back and welcome to episode 2 of Celebrating Love with Ramina Creatives. I'm Tess, the founder of Ramina Creatives. If you're new here, we are Ramina Creatives specializing in customized gifting. And if you'd like to know more about us, click the link below. Check our Instagram, our Twitter and Facebook pages for more information. So to start off the show yesterday, Hlulani and Hlulani shared their love story with us. Today, you'll be getting double the giggles you got yesterday from Hlulani and Hlulani because we have 2 episodes showcasing today, episode 2 and episode 3. So the 2 episodes are connected in some way, so you have to stay tuned after watching episode 2 to find out how the 2 stories connect. But for now, enjoy the show.
My name is Hlulani and he's JP. We are Mr. and Mrs. Mabunda. We've been married for a year and a month. So it'll be a year and a month on the 18th of Feb. How did we meet? I'll trust you to narrate in the meeting part.
We never met. So I'll say we met in primary.
I don't know. Never
so
met.
we grew up from the same village and we went to the same school and I got to know you, and it was in primary and then we went on to high school. That's about it. That's how we met. But
So what I remember, my friend from Pretoria in 2010 called me and said JP has a big crush on you, and I was like, hell no, because I've known this guy all my life and he's never mentioned anything. And then when I got to Cape Town, because you were already in Cape Town, that's when slowly you started talking to me and you started showing interest. That's, I would say, for dating, for the purposes of dating, I'll say that's when we met. So it will be 2009 when my friend actually called me, and then in 2010, was it 10?
It has to be 2011.
Okay.
When you came to Cape Town. I think it was after church. And I saw you, and I think that's where all things started, basically. So yeah, and then from there it went on and slowly.
No, but it can't. There's no way it started there, because your brother. Remember when your brother said when you guys were kids, I was passing by your house from school, and you're like, "There's my wife." Do you remember that?
Yeah, that's a childhood thing, man.
So it was a childhood.
You know,
crush.
look. When you kids, you see girls and then matipaka, you know.
Yes.
So yeah.
Okay.
So you just
started
happen at that point to be the one that I've selected or I've chosen or I've given myself, but not necessarily. We were kids, man. We were playing and we never knew that one day it will end up here. So.
But I found it interesting because I know, like you were saying, you were kids and Amotipaka, but I found it that interesting that Monlonga Tepaka, eventually that's the person you had a crush growing up and you ended up marrying. Found that interesting.
Yeah.
I think another thing is what attracted you to me.
Well, what? So you remember in primary and also in high school, I don't want to say you were famous, but everyone knew you, and I was like, who's this girl? Okay. And then, you know, with my taste for finer things, and
Okay.
I was like, oh, okay. It's not a better candidate.
Yes.
You know. So I think that's where it all came about. Yeah.
So funny enough, I never really saw you in the light of boyfriend. It's like any guy from, someone you know from home and stuff like that. So even when you started pursuing me, it was like not an instant attraction because I always saw you, I know this guy, and somehow I felt like I can't really date this guy because if it doesn't work out and we come from the same place, what now? I think though is as the year went by, you were very consistent in like calling, and sometimes you would call me, I wouldn't respond, you'll send me messages, I would ignore you for like a month, and you still, I remember I was even so mean to you. There's a time I even called you obsessed, but your timing was always perfect. When I was stressing or work was hectic, that's when you would like call or send such a nice message, have a good week. And I think from 2014, you decided that you're not gonna play my games. So every time when you call me, before you hang up, you'll say, I love you, even if you don't respond. And I was like, this guy really means this. And I'd say the biggest thing that attracted me to you was your consistency. And for the first time, I think I realized what love meant, because you knew all my flaws, you knew how mean I was, but you were very you never gave up on me. And I think that was the one thing that attracted me to you. So yeah.
So I think we officially started dating when I think we're in Rosebank, right? So I was traveling for work, and with my company, I think I was attending some training, and we booked at there's a hotel in Rosebank. I forgot its name, but
yeah, I also can't remember the name.
I think that's where we had our
Crown something.
Crown Plaza.
Yes, I think
we went to Crown Plaza. We booked there for a few days, and I called there and I told her I'm around. She'll come over.
No, babes, we were already in a relationship.
Were we?
Yes, remember. The relationship is I went home. You called me and said, because I had been saying no for the longest of time. You said your sister would like to meet up with me. Remember?
Oh, yes.
And then I was like, I'm not interested to meet your sister because chances are you told her we're in a relationship. You're like, no, I didn't tell my sister we're in a relationship. I just told her there's someone I really like and I'd like to meet up. So I met up with your sister on the 26th of April in 2016. I still can remember. So I think for the first time I saw you in a different light because your sister highlighted a whole lot of things that I thought you were doing as like an act up. So I remember when she mentioned, my brother is like the most romantic, is the kind of guy that will open a door for you. And I think for the first time, I'm like, oh, so all these years, he's not trying to win me over. That's who he is. And she's like, he's the kind of guy that buy you flowers all the time. And in my mind, I used to say, you buy me flowers because you want to win me over. But I think just your sister saying those things, it was sort of a confirmation. And I think after the meeting with your sister, that's when I told you that we can be in a relationship. So that was the first day we started dating. But our first official date was when then you came to Joburg. So the Crown Plaza was the first official date. Do you remember?
Yeah, I remember. We're sitting by the restaurant, and I think that's the day we had our first kiss as well.
Yes.
After the date and at the parking lot.
I was so nervous because I'm like, this is the guy that I've known for all my life and now he's my boyfriend. I think I didn't tell anyone for like good 2 months. And you're also you came up as someone who's very reserved. So I was like, is he even gonna try kiss me? So when you grabbed me at the parking lot, I was like, whoa. You remember that? I was literally froze when you kissed me because I'm like, I didn't expect this. So
so I think when we started dating, I was very intentional that I wanted to marry her. So I'll say from day one, I always told her, because she was a very difficult and stubborn person, and she would ask me, why do you want to date me? I remember at some point I had to pray to God for her. She said, no, if you want me, you must go to God and pray. So I did all those, and Yeah, and I think from the day one, when I started sharing and whatnot, I made sure, or it was intentional. So we're dating to get married. So I would say it was intentional from day one.
Yeah. I actually the first few months I was more like, I don't want to say worried, but like you said, that I was very difficult. So I didn't know how this thing was going to turn out, to a point where I didn't tell anyone. I think I only started telling people that we're dating after like our date when you came here. And I saw how like from get-go you were like, one day we were going to get married. I prayed for you because you asked me to pray. This is it. And I like how our relationship everything that happened was organic. So in as much as we knew we wanted to get married, we didn't put pressure on ourselves. But every day I think it just led to that. Every time we spent time together, I think the bond just grew. We'll talk about almost everything. And I appreciated how when you were having a bad day, you were very open. So I think even when there's no specific time, I think, where we decided we're going to get married, because it's like we were dating knowing that's where we headed. Perhaps I would say it got to a point in 2019 because we were all over the show. I was in Mpumalanga, you went to the Eastern Cape. I think for the first time we were in a very long distance relationship, and that's when both of us were like, I think this is the last year we're going to spend being apart. Can we just make this thing like official? Because I think then you were like, yeah, when I come back I want to send my uncle. So from that distance, I think it just made everything. And when I left to Europe as well, you're like, when you come back, I'm making you officially my wife. So I'd say maybe in 2019 we like put a stamp to say by next year we need to be husband and wife.
Yeah, it's a love language. Well, in no particular order. Well, I think out of the 5, I think I want to highlight 3 in no particular order. So the first one is words of affirmation. I think as a man, we really need that boosting of that ego, especially from your woman.
Yes.
So that is very important. And then acts of service. I love it when you do stuff for me. I mean, for many years I was doing things for myself, so I really appreciate that, and I think I've gotten used to it, and I love it so much. And
the third one?
Well, I'm torn between quality time and touch. Yeah, I think for me, I think it goes at the same way, both of them.
Okay.
But I'll say quality time. I think I love being around you. Yeah, I mean, throughout this lockdown, we had a great time.
Yes.
I mean, if we didn't like each other, it would probably be difficult. So,
That's true.
yeah, I think I enjoy your company. Yours?
My one will be, it's funny enough, this whole love languages changes depending on like the stage you are in. I think before we were married, because we were not together all the time, quality time used to be like number 1. But now, because obviously like we're together all the time, I think active service as well. It still makes me smile when you like bring me breakfast. Like even today this morning when you said, okay, breakfast will be ready in 10 minutes, and you brought breakfast. I find that very romantic, and I'm grateful that you do that. And not even just like food related, you have your ways of always like doing acts of service. I appreciate that. Yeah, quality time as well. The time we spend together, especially even during lockdown, when we now start talking deep about the future, we plan together, we pray together, and the things that we yet to achieve. And when we're also not on our phones but focusing on us, I think I like that. And you know, I'm for touch all the time, so the romantic stuff, that's my other one. And I also like gifts, but I think because you overdo it.
That was number 1.
No, but I think it's because don't know if that makes sense. So I've gotten used to, okay, it's gonna come back with flowers, it's gonna come back with chocolate. It's no longer like something, how do I call it? The same way when you were asking me about Valentine, and I was like, for us Valentine, because we kind of celebrate our love every day, it's not like a big deal. So yeah, so again, it's in no particular order. That's like my top 4 as well. Words of affirmation, not so much. Yeah. Who's the biggest giver?
I think that's the difficult one. Yeah, well, like you said, we both give us in our own respect. But I like to think I'm the best, or I'm the biggest giver. Yeah, so now the drum is playing itself. But I would like you to tell me that.
And what's the best
gift
that I've ever given to you?
Sure. You've given me a lot of things over the years, but nothing beats your love, man. And I think that's the biggest gift.
Okay.
Yeah, above all the gifts, the phones, the cameras, the vacations, the gifts, a lot of things. Above all, I think your love is or loving me back. It's been the greatest gift for me.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think also the first question, if you like, as in terms of who is the biggest giver, it's a bit tricky. I would say though, in terms of material things, you are like the biggest giver. Because I think I'm more on the softer side, like in terms of caring, in terms of I give that way, and then obviously like on your birthday or special occasions, then I'll do the material stuff. But I think you are more conscious in terms of like spoiling me and stuff like that. Again, which makes it difficult. What's the biggest gift you've ever given to me? Materially, again, would be like our proposal. I felt like that was well thought of, how you traveled all the way from South Africa to Europe just to propose, how you came with the lock so that we can lock our love, how the whole photographer was organized, all the way from, it's like how you organized that lady in Europe. I think that remains one of like the highlights in terms of gifts. But there's a lot as well, and more than anything, I also appreciate how loving you are. Your love is very unconditional, and you are such a caring person, and you teach me like how to love as well. So yeah, that's it.
What do you do for fun? I think going to the gym lately, and going on vacations. I think we really enjoy going away, exploring South Africa, and lately viewing houses. Yeah,
that's all we actually do on weekends. We also like are very adventurous in nature. It's just that there's lockdown, but we're the kind of couple that would enjoy hiking, would go to like Drakensberg to do something fun. I think we really bond, or even driving like to somewhere where there's nature. We enjoy that. Mutual friends, it will be your Mlu and his wife.
Yeah. Who else?
Yeah, those are like our mutual friends.
They're small, I just don't remember.
Yeah, I also can't remember everyone.
Everything.
What's everything? Okay.
She's more stubborn, and a lot of things have to happen her way, or it doesn't go easy. She needs a little bit of convincing at all times.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So we argue about
but it's not serious things or things concerning. Yeah, small argue like why is the table like this? Why don't you put it like this? It looks better this way. Or why do you put the pillow this way? It looks better this way, and all those. Yeah.
Because I thought by arguments they mean like maybe our biggest fight. So that's why I said I don't recall. We've never really had like an argument.
Not yet.
It's a I didn't sign up for argument, but anyway, yeah. So the minor things, obviously, I think because, like you said, I'm stubborn. It will be like me maybe expecting tables. I think any woman wants their house to look a certain way, but we've never really had big arguments. So the one thing that you do that I don't get, oh my goodness, you like watching those scary videos on the phone, and then you scream by yourself like something has really happened. And I'm like, what's going on? And you're like, no, it's just a video.
No. It's funny fails. I mean, people falling or hurting themselves.
And I'm like, I don't get it.
It's fun. It's fun videos.
I don't get it. But because they scare you at the same time, and you like scream, and I'm like, what happened? You're like, no, it's just the video I'm watching.
Yeah.
What do I do that you don't get?
Sure. A lot of things. I just can't think of anything right now, and I also don't want to get into trouble. So yeah.
No, man. But you can say if there's anything that I do that you're like, okay, this doesn't make sense.
Yeah, no, nothing. I think that the freedom I have, I get to be myself. You support me in everything I do, and you always have an opinion or on everything I bump by you, and you support me basically. And I'm free around you, and you're more like my best friend. I can trust you, and yeah.
It has to be the way you love. I've always wondered, like, what is love? And I think the first instance of love was God is love. God loves us so unconditionally. But I never really understood, how can you really love someone unconditionally, especially because we're of sinful nature. And when I met you, that's when actually that whole unconditional love made sense. Because, like you said, I'm very stubborn. I'm very different to you. And I like things to be done a certain way. I have my flaws. But your love for me, it's so unconditional. You don't count the wrong things that I do. So I really like that about you. And the fact that you're caring. So even if we were to go, like, we are very adventurous. But if every time, even if we're about to ride a horse, you're going to ask everyone around us, is this thing safe? Is she not going to fall? Like, and I'm like, hang on, I've done this before. Like the other day, we went to do that zip lining, and you were asking them, did they check the quality? What if I fall? So I think the way you care, and even like in terms of food, like, you know, ever since we got married, I hardly buy groceries. You're the one who knows what we need, how do we need this. So I find that very, like, you know, I like that about you.
Who is always late? Who is funnier? Who is the best cook? Who sleeps earlier? Who said I love you first?
I know I promised you a story about episode 2 and episode 3 being connected, but I don't like killing vibes, so you will have to stay tuned to find out how episode 3 and episode 2 are connected. Quite interesting.